What is up guys, it's your boy Bucky and welcome back to another New World video. Today guys, I wanted to introduce you to the Void Gauntlet. Void Gauntlet is a weapon that so far is only available into the test realm of the game, which you can download from your library if you have the game already. And it's still in production, so it's going to be pretty soon I think when they're going to put it live. So guys, I'm just going to show you what the Void Gauntlet is and what it does, what ability it has, and what passive ability it has. It's pretty much looks like the original armor gauntlet. It's a long range weapon that consumes mana when attacking, and I'm going to show you guys right now. So it's a gauntlet that consumes mana to deliver it foes and strengthen allies, specializing in close range buffs and then damage over time or mid-range debuffs and healing. The Void Gauntlet is particularly dangerous when used in groups. So the light attack deals 100% of the void damage, heavy attack does 125% of the void damage, and heal self for 20% of the damage done, so it's pretty decent. It can also be used as, I think with light stuff will be pretty good. I'm going to make a video combining the Void Gauntlet and the light stuff. I'm going to show you which abilities to use in my next video, so hold tight, subscribe and like for more New World content. And we have the Harvest Essence. It's actually the button where we're blocking, converts your health into mana over time, and it scales with the weapon damage. So it scales with intelligence and focus, so it's pretty normal this weapon to be used with light stuff. There are two trees. First is Annihilation and the second is Decay. And we're going to go over all of the abilities and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So the first one is Void Blade. What Void Blade does, summons a blade of void energy that converts basic attack to melee. Tap basic attack that does 100% of the weapon damage, and hold from a thirst attack that does 150% of the weapon damage. Both attacks inflict Disintegrate on a successful hits, delay 5% of the weapon damage per second, and reducing damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds. It stacks up to 3 times and with 15 seconds duration. It costs 20 mana and the cooldown is 23.8 seconds. It has Forfeiting Blade, which gains 45 on start, increasing damage absorption by 20% for 5 seconds, so we're going to take this passive too. And the next passive is Vicious Void, does 10% critical damage on Void Blade attacks. We also have Leeching Blade, successful thirst attacks heal self for 5% of the weapon damage per disintegrate stack on a target, which scales exclusively with focus. So we're going to take this for now. I'm going to show you what this Annihilation tree and the Void Blade looks like. So as usual, press Q and there is like a sword that you can use it for blocking, you can use it for melee attack. So this weapon is pretty good because you can both melee and rage attack with it. If you use this, what was the name, Void Blade or something, sorry, yeah, it was the Void Blade, of course, which is pretty good. So the next one is going to be the Petrifying Scream. Unleashes a void infused scream dealing 100% of the weapon damage, staggering and inflict root to enemies within 5 meters in front of you. Disables enemies for movements for 2 seconds. It uses 25 mana and has cooldown of 14.3%, 14.3 seconds. The passive ability is Bone Chilling Voice. Reduration is increased by 1 second on a target below 50% of the health. And Fortified Echoes gains 45 for each enemy hit, increasing damage absorption by 10% for 10 seconds per hit. Stacks up to 3 times. We're also going to take this. I'm going to show you what the Petrifying Scream looks like. It's just like beam around you, I mean in front of you, and that's pretty much about it. Using this costs like 30% mana, something like that. I mean the Void Blade. Okay, so the next ability I'm going to show you is Oblivion. What Oblivion does is summons a circular rift of void energy in your feet that deals 30% of the weapon damage per second to enemies and grants you empower to self and friendlies, increasing the damage by 20% and 5 meter radius, 6 seconds duration. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate these two, cost 30 mana and 19 seconds cooldown. We have Withering Oblivion. Your attack inflict weaken to target inside of the radius, reducing their damage by 5% for 5 seconds per hit, stacks up to 3 times. And Invigorating Oblivion, 15 stamina per second for self and friendlies while they are inside the radius. So what it does, guys, summons like a circle around you, and everyone who is inside is pretty much fucked. And you can use this in wars and stuff like that. It will be pretty fun and pretty decent to use. The remaining passive abilities for Annihilation, we have the Forsaken Pact, 10% damage below 50 mana. We have Keen Confidence, 10% critical chance above 50% health. Refreshing Precision, 10% cooldown reduction on abilities on critical hit. We have Keen Humility, 10% critical strike chance while all abilities are on cooldown. We have Empowering Proximity, gain empower when casting abilities within 5 meters of an enemy, increasing damage to 10% for 5 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. We have the Leeching Agony, on critical hit you gain health equal to 50% of the damage done. And we have Refreshing Frailty, 5% cooldown reduction on abilities when successfully hitting enemies afflicted by 3 or more debuff attacks. Good. And we have the ultimate Void Color. On a successful ability hit, you gain a stack of Void Essence up to 6 stacks. So at 6 stacks, consume all stacks and gain 3 meters arrow that heals self and friendlies for 30% of the weapon damage and deals 30% of weapon damage per second to enemies within. Wow, this is really, it's pretty much a game changer with this. And healing skills exclusively with focus, 5 seconds duration, 20 seconds cooldown. Pretty decent. Pretty decent, I say, guys. So now we're going to respec. I'm going to go over the decay abilities. So we have Orb of Decay. Fire an unblockable orb that passes through enemies, deal 100% of the weapon damage and inflicts Disintegrate, dealing 5% of the weapon damage per second and reducing the damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. At max range, it transforms into a healing orb and returns, healing friendlies for 20% of the weapon damage per second for 5 seconds. So this is insane. This weapon has a lot of damage. AoE healing, AoE damage, fortify, buffs, armor reductions, disintegrates, weakens. It literally has everything. I think when this weapon goes live, this is going to be the most OP weapon there is, and I'm sure that everyone will be using this. But we are going to be seeing this pretty soon, I think. So we have Draining Orb, gain 5% mana, plus 5% mana per enemy that is hit by the orb. So we have Slowing Orb, the orb slows enemies already afflicted by any debuff, reducing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds, so more movement speed reductions. And we have the Detonating Orb as a third passive skill of this Orb of Decay. Passing the press the ability, input again to detonate the orb with a 4-meter explosion radius. Depending on the orb phase, the explosion will either damage the enemies for 100% of the weapon damage and apply stack of Disintegrate, or heal Flintis for 70% of the weapon damage. Healing skills exclusively with focus. Let's see how the orb looks like. Nice. I forgot to mention that the orb has 14.3% cooldown, seconds, sorry, and it's about costs 20 mana, so that's not that much. Okay, on to the next. We have Baleful Tether. Fires a projectile that tethers you to the enemy, weakens it, and empowering you by 4% per 20 seconds. Maximum per 4% per second, 20% maximum, so that's 5 seconds. The tether ends if the target moves beyond 15 meters, and it has 10 seconds of duration. Costs 25 mana. Okay, I'm going to show you these two. So, tether refreshes. Successful hits against the tether target reduce the Void Gauntlet cooldown by 5 seconds. Okay, 5%, sorry. The tether focus 100% mana regeneration when the tether is active. Cool. And Soul Eater regain 80% weapon damage as a health if the tether target dies. Skills exclusively with focus. So all the healing guys remember skills with focus. So if you're going to be using this with life stuff, probably your Void Gauntlet with the second wave also. You can max your focus, and if you're going to use the heals, apart from the life stuff, you're going to want to be using heals with the Void or Gauntlet, so you gotta max your focus so the healing from the Void Gauntlet will have effect. Okay, we're going to show you now what I forget the name of it. Yeah, Belayful Tether. I'm not sure if I can tether to anybody, but okay, it's pretty much how it works. Just tether to some enemy here, and that's about it. Alright, on to the last of the abilities. We have the Essence Rupture. First projectile that inflicts Essence Rupture for 10 seconds, healing anyone that hits the target for 20% of the weapon's done, and does not apply damage over time. 20% mana, 19 seconds cooldown. First passive skill is Invigorating Rupture. Players additionally receive 15 stamina when hitting the afflicted target. We have Overflowing Essence. Friendlies within 4 meters of the afflicted target are healed by 80% of the weapon damage when the Essence Rupture ends. Skills exclusively with focus. As I said, heals equals focus. So that's about it, and I'm going to go over to these passives and I'm going to show you how this Essence Rupture looks like. So we have Deadly Range, 10% on 10% damage on a successful ranged heavy attack against target that are more than 8 meters away. Then we have Fervent Thirst, 5% mana per successful ranged light attack against targets afflicted by the Void Gauntlet debuffs. We have mana cost reduced by 25% while above 50% mana, so it's going to be way harder to waste your mana above 50% than it will be below 50%. Refreshing Harvest cooldowns are reduced by 10% per second while performing Harvest Essence. We have Leeching Bolts. Healing from ranged heavy attacks is increased by additional 30% of the damage dealt if the target is below 50% health. We have Extended Suffering. Successful ranged heavy attack increases the duration of a non-crown control debuffs you have applied by 10%. We have Manic Evasion. Dodging with mana heals you for 80% weapon damage, skills exclusively with focus, and has 20 seconds cooldown. And the last one is Glimpse of the Void. Gain a stack of Void Essence per successful ability hit. Add 4 or more stacks. Your next successful ranged heavy attack will instantly reset all Void Gauntlet cooldowns and remove all stacks. 15 seconds cooldown. I'm not sure if people are going to be using this because it's pretty complex and you're going to be needing a successful heavy attack from a range when you have 4 stacks to actually reduce all cooldown, all Void Gauntlet abilities, but we'll see. People are going to be playing different styles, and we're going to see what's going to happen when this Void Gauntlet goes live. So that was it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you see you in my next video. I hope you like this video and have a good day. Goodbye.